so far this has all been just heuristic. We've seen, the closer the points fall to a straight line, the closer the points are to falling on a straight line, the larger the correlation coefficient is. If that straight line has a positive slope, the correlation coefficient will be positive. If the straight line has a negative slope, the correlation coefficient will be negative. Now let's talk about numerically how to compute the correlation coefficient. So it's a number that's been on this plot. Where does it come from? Right. First step in computing the correlation coefficient is to turn the list, the two lists of numbers. Remember, we're computing the correlation coefficient between two variables, and we need to turn each of those variables into standard units. So what is a value in standard units? Well, you take the original value, you subtract the mean of those values, and divide by the standard deviation of those values. Okay, so we take a value of verbal GMAT score, subtract the mean of the verbal GMAT scores, divide by the standard deviation of the verbal GMAT scores. Okay, we're talking about the mean and the standard deviation of the same variable, right? Okay, so that's an affine transformation. When we talked about affine transformations, is it just the last lecture? No, that's of the form a constant times something plus a constant. Okay, so what is this? This is taking, reminder, office hours in Student Learning Center today. Okay, if I take value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation, I can write that as a constant times the value plus a constant, right? So what's the constant times the value? So that's the same as 1 over SD times the value minus the mean over the SD, right? So the multiplicative constant is this, and the additive constant is minus that, right? So this is an affine transformation. Okay, and you can go back and forth. If you have the value in standard units times the SD plus the mean takes you back to the original units of measurement. All right. If you have a value that is above the mean, then when you convert it to standard units, it's going to be positive. If you have a value that's below the mean, when you convert it to standard units, it's going to be negative.